Chapter 7. Getting the Forces Together. Determine that things can and shall be done, and then we shall find the way. Abraham Lincoln. As our experience reveals, progress is rapid wherever there is an efficient administrative setup, a high level of education, and minimum political interference in development activity. To me, development is a security-centric phenomenon, from poverty to food security, social security, and thereafter national security. In India 2020, we have identified 5 areas where India has a core competence for integrated action. First among these 5 is agriculture and food processing, where we have to set a target of 360 million tons of food and agricultural production. Agriculture and agro-food processing, particularly by way of value addition, would bring prosperity to the rural people and speed up economic growth. The second area is power. A reliable supply of electricity in all parts of the country is a must. The third area is education and healthcare. Here we have found that education and healthcare are interrelated. For example, Kerala, with high literacy and better healthcare, could bring down the rate of population growth and improvement in the quality of life in the state. Similarly, in Tamil Nadu too, we have seen a fall in the birth rate that is linked to these factors. Studies in Andhra Pradesh indicate a similar trend. These trends need to be replicated in states like Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, where levels of population growth remain high. The fourth area is information technology. This is one of our core competencies and holds the potential to rapidly transform backward areas besides promoting education and generating wealth. The fifth area is the strategic sector. This area, fortunately, has witnessed growth in areas like nuclear, space, and defense technology. Action in these 5 areas properly integrated would lead to food, economic, social, and national security. A strong partnership between the research and development institutions, universities, industry, and the community as a whole, with the government departments and agencies, will be essential to accomplish the vision. The key to success lies in connectivity. The development of education and healthcare will yield the benefits of smaller families and a more efficient workforce. It is the key to employability and social development. Improvements in the agricultural sector, including that of food processing, would lead to food security, employment opportunities, and rapid economic growth. Growth in the information technology sector would assist rapid economic growth as well as play an important part in speeding up development. Electric power provides energy security so crucial for all sectors. The strategic sector has a direct impact on industry, sustaining growth and technological strength. For balanced development, all the 5 areas are of importance. The combined effect of these 5 areas would result in GDP growth rising from present 6% to 10%, and the lives of 300 to 400 million people who are presently living below the poverty line would be significantly improved. I worked with THOUGHT teams in 3 areas: agriculture, advanced education, and rural connectivity. In doing so, I drew on my earlier experiences in the mission areas of sugar, fly ash, and composites. With Professor S.K. Sinha, a renowned agricultural scientist, THOUGHT took up a project to enhance agricultural productivity in central Bihar and eastern India. 6 villages in one and 9 villages in the other region were selected during the Kharif season of 1998. The system approach consisted of soil analysis, seed choice, cultivation season, fertilizer selection, and training to the farmers. This intensive collaboration of scientists and farmers resulted in substantial increase in wheat yields, which rose from 2.5 tons per hectare to nearly 5 tons per hectare. When I and Y.S. Rajan visited a few villages where this system approach is used, we found the farmers showing an interest in new issues like equipment for faster harvesting, storage facilities, and marketing and banking systems. It was clear that a small team, cutting across various departments, could work wonders even in a difficult region, achieving results in a cost and time-effective way. Another experiment underway is REACH, relevance and excellence in achieving new heights in education institutions. The purpose of this mission is to establish 80 to 100 centers that follow common academic programs and share the commitment to achieve excellence. In this endeavor, they work together by interchange of faculty and joint research as need be. As part of this, Centers of Relevance and Excellence, CORE, have been established in Patiala, Dibrugarh, Mumbai, Thanjavur, and Surat in the areas of agro and industrial biotechnology, advanced computing and information processing, petroleum reservoir engineering, industrial safety, environmental engineering, and herbal drugs. Our experience in the REACH program is that industries are willing to participate in specialized areas of their interest, and they are also willing to invest about 40% of the total expenditure in establishing CORE. In return, they will benefit in terms of skilled manpower and access to the results of research. The willingness of industry to be partners in technology development and education has helped our confidence a great deal. It was also satisfying to see Dr. M.S. Vijayaraghavan, advisor in the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor, blossom into a leader in the integrated learning system. His innovation was to bring the commitment of industry to the learning program. Another example relates to the program for rural connectivity evolved under the leadership of Prof. P.V. Indiresan, who was formerly director of IIT Madras. As mentioned earlier, the fact that there is net migration from villages to cities indicates that they offer more opportunities, and the only way to equalize the flow is to develop the rural areas and bring life there on par with that in the cities. Once employment opportunities increase there, as do the amenities available, as per the model created by Prof. Indiresan, rural development may be expected to prevent, if not actually reverse, rural-urban migration. Presently, several technologies exist to make this possible, provided we use the connectivity approach in various areas. For the Rural Development Program called PURA, we have introduced the concept of dynamic connectivity of 4 types called PEAK: physics, electronics, economics, and knowledge connectivities. One more important need is IT-driven telemedicine. In May last year, I visited the CARE hospital in Hyderabad. The whole place had been geared up for a telemedicine trial, and the hall was full of doctors, communication engineers, computer scientists, and software experts. Patients were to be tested and advised through telemedicine. The patients would undergo electrocardiography and tests for liver functioning. The novel thing was that the patients were in a distant place, but the diagnosis would be done in Hyderabad. The doctors and the patients interacted via satellite. The ECG data was exchanged with high-resolution image transfer and clinical information provided in real time. I could see the ultrasound images of liver and heart functioning of the patients coming from a faraway hospital as specialists gave their opinion. It looked like a very promising way to offer healthcare services in places that did not have the medical facilities of a large city. Telemedicine could take advanced medical technology to the rural villages and help link up primary health centers, area hospitals, district hospitals, and specialty hospitals in the state capitals. To me, it was fascinating to see how it brought together engineering and medical science to treat a patient irrespective of distance, using advances in satellite communication and transmission of data. It was in 1990, on a recommendation of a friend of mine, that I visited Aravind Eye Hospital at Madurai for an eye checkup and treatment. Upon entering, I saw an orderly queue of patients awaiting their turn and joined it. The queue was a long one, but it was moving fast, and within half an hour, I was being examined by Dr. G. Nachiyar and recommended treatment. That done, I went to deposit the money for admission to the hospital. However, I had trouble paying at the counter as the girl there refused to accept a check, and I had no cash. I went to Dr. Nachiyar again and told her my predicament. She considered briefly and agreed to admit me. I was treated and discharged after a few days. A few days later, I received a letter from Dr. Nachiyar apologizing for not having recognized me. She came to know only when my security personnel inquired about me at the hospital after my discharge. I have visited the hospital often after that first visit. Dr. G. Venkataswamy, brother of Dr. Nachiyar, is a good friend, and I make it a point to meet him every time I visit Madurai. Let me tell you a little more about Dr. Venkataswamy and his commitment to his work. The Aravind Eye Hospital handled more than 1.3 million outpatient visits in 2001. It conducted 190,000 surgeries and held about 1,500 eye screening camps. No wonder, then, that Dr. Venkataswamy's hard work has achieved recognition from WHO. The hospital provides training to students from leading universities abroad, including Harvard and Johns Hopkins. Dr. Venkataswamy has become a superb surgeon despite what to many in his position would be a crippling handicap. His fingers are twisted and frozen by arthritis that struck him while he was a student in medical school. One day, as we were talking, he narrated this incident to me. An industrialist from Delhi came to Dr. Venkataswamy and said, "I need to build a hospital, and I am very much impressed with your hospital. Will you come and start a hospital in Delhi for me?" Dr. Venkataswamy asked him, "What is it that you want? You have the money. It is not difficult for you to put up a hospital in Delhi. Why don't you just do it?" The industrialist said, "No, I want a hospital with the Aravind culture. People are cordial here. They seem to respect people more than money. There is a certain empathy or compassion that seems to flow from them." My own experience at the hospital bore this out. In the Aravind experience, I see the path that we need to take. A transformation of life into a powerful instrument of right action. As with medicine, in the same way, we shall see technology allied to different fields, such as agriculture. But the overall purpose has to be to help the people and meet their needs. The vision of a developed India can be realized only if we recognize that wealth generation and wealth protection are two sides of the same coin. A nation's wealth represents the sweat and hard work of its people. The famous Tamil poet Andal, who was regarded as one of the 13 Vaishnavite Alwars in her famous work Tirupavai, invokes the blessings of God to provide in plenty Nengatha Selvam, stable wealth, to the land. This is possible only with an integrated approach towards development. Granted, planners look individually at the activities of various ministries and approve their action plans. However, if these proposals were to be looked at not in isolation but in the context of multiple-use planning, the benefits would multiply. Thus, a technology, product, or a service resulting out of a particular program of a department ministry should be mandated to be available to other departments' ministries at the stage of plan approvals. This would provide the needed integration at the planning stage. A similar approach needs to be put in place at other downstream activities. An integrated mission approach would permit interweaving of measures to generate wealth with similar steps for wealth protection. This is the hallmark of a developed country and hence the key to a developed India. Another aspect of a developed country is global competitiveness of its industry. It is not only catering to the home market but also aiming for a large market outside it. Hence, its contribution to GDP is also very large. This is a prerequisite for India too in its development. Indian industry has to show the same competitiveness and innovation so that we can have our own multinationals. Universal literacy and access to education for all is another fundamental requirement for a nation to be truly developed. Education would result in the creation of a large base of people who excel in various fields as well, an invaluable resource for any country. At present, however, there is a high degree of asymmetry in the educational system. While there are many who aspire to higher education, quality institutions to impart this are few. This creates a large mismatch of demand and supply in quality manpower, and is starkly evident in emerging sunrise areas such as information technology, biotechnology, environmental engineering, and manufacturing technology. The economic liberalization taking place will only intensify such demand in coming years. Moreover, higher education has also to be made more relevant to industry and society, an aspect in which it is inadequate at present. One solution lies in fostering institutions with expertise in selected subjects of relevance to industry and society. Some of the institutions which have excelled this far could provide templates for the new ones. Lastly, the solution should be implemented in a mission mode. Only the mission objectives should be paramount, and all else subservient to these objectives. To develop to the desired level, industry also needs to recognize the importance of forward and backward linkages. While linkages with bridging institutions such as think tanks, technical consultancy services, other firms involved in similar activities as well as customers constitute the forward linkage, partnership with universities, R&D labs, and technology-providing institutions would form the backward linkage. Investment in higher education is therefore crucial for forming this backward linkage, which would serve as a springboard for Indian industry to make the jump to becoming a global player. We should not hesitate to take a fast decision for establishing 20 more IITs and medical institutions. Whether they are promoted by Indian or foreign groups does not matter as long as the bottom line remains excellence. On the 15th of October 2000, a website designed for me by friends in the Pawn Group was launched by the Infosys chairman, N.R. Narayana Murthy, in the presence of Prof. N. Balakrishnan of the IUSC. Some of my friends asked me to post a few questions on the website. My questions were three. First, India has been a developing country for more than half a century. What would you as young boys and girls like to do to make it a developed India? The second question was, when can I sing a song of India? And the third, why do we love anything foreign in spite of our capabilities in many fields, whereas other countries celebrate their own successes? My only stipulation was that the answer should come from youth aged under 20. More than 100 answers and suggestions were received from within the country and abroad. 5 of these answers are relevant here. One young man from Chandigarh responded, I will become a teacher, rather, a professor of engineering, since I am good in, as well as enjoy teaching, and I believe that one of the best ways in which to serve one's nation is to be either a professor or a soldier. A girl wrote from Pondicherry, a single flower makes no garland. I will work for a garland leading to unity of minds, as this is needed for transforming India into a developed country. A 20-year-old youth from Goa responded, like an electron ceaselessly moving in its orbit, I will work ceaselessly for my country, now onwards. With reference to the second point I had raised, a young man from Atlanta wrote, when India becomes capable of imposing sanctions against any country, if they are needed, then I will sing a song of India. What the young man meant was that economic strength brings prosperity accompanied by national strength. The fifth answer is actually something that 30% of the respondents said. The need for greater transparency in various facets of our life. One crucial fact often overlooked is that India has a population of 700 million people below the age of 35. These are 700 million people with the inclination, the ability, and the enthusiasm to take the nation to greatness. It is a very big force for change indeed. How can one ignite the young minds? How can one attract and involve the young in the task of nation building? Only a united vision launched with renewed vigor will bring the young force into action. The subject of transparency and values brings to my mind Gandhiji. I happened to meet in Delhi his granddaughter, Sumitra Kulkarni. I asked her, Sumitraji, is there a particular incident, in respect of honesty in public life, that you always remember from your grandfather's life? She narrated to me this story. Every day, as you all would have heard, Mahatma Gandhi held a prayer meeting at a fixed time in the evening. After the prayers, there would be a collection of voluntary gifts for the welfare of Harijans and others. The devotees of Gandhiji used to collect whatever was given by the people of all sections, and this collection was counted by a few members suggested by Gandhiji. The amount so collected would be informed to Gandhiji before dinner. The next day, a man from the bank would come to collect the money for deposit. Once the man reported that there was a shortage of few pays and the money handed over to him and the amount informed to Gandhiji the previous night. Gandhiji, on hearing this, was so upset that he went on fast saying that this is a poor man's donation and we have no business to lose any of it. This episode is a unique example of transparency in public life. Well, in the same country we are witnessing the best and the worst. We should all, particularly the young generation, launch a movement for a transparent India, just as our fathers fought for our freedom. Transparency is a cornerstone of development. We have spoken about our progress since independence. We are self-sufficient in agriculture, lead the world in milk production, have made enormous strides in industrial development, and so on. However, we are still a developing country, one among hundreds. As such, it is important to understand where we stand in terms of competitiveness. A country's competitiveness is defined as the ability of a national economy to achieve sustained high rates of economic growth. By that yardstick, according to the Global Competitiveness Report prepared by the World Economic Forum, Singapore is first, the USA is second, Hong Kong is third, Taiwan is fourth, Canada is fifth, the UK is eighth, France 23rd, Germany 25th, and India 59th. What decides world competitiveness? It is a combination of the progressiveness of industry, the push for improved technology, and the status of governmental deregulation. In terms of overall GDP size, we are 12th in the world. In terms of per capita GDP, we are 57th. Is this status acceptable to us, especially to the young? I believe we should work for 4th or 5th position in terms of GDP, as well as in respect of competitiveness. The target year should be 2020, and we should aim for a higher position afterwards. We have discussed some of the strategies and tools that can help us acquire the desired status. To reiterate, a knowledge society can form the foundation for such a vision. I am glad that the Planning Commission has taken a lead in generating a roadmap for us to become such a society. Where do we start? A number of new states have been created recently, and these provide an excellent opportunity.